ATC47 has begun. The Secretary of Transportation has announced the award and the schedule for an important component of the new world-class ATC system. Let's talk about it. Hey there and welcome back. Wow, this is great news. ATC47 has begun, and I am rocking the ball cap from Stratify Aerospace with their permission. I am personally terrible at naming conventions, and this one gave me a smile. So I'm going to go with it. I like it better than the FAA's working title of LIFT, the Legacy Infrastructure and Future Technology Program. Yeah, that's a lot of words. Let's go with ATC47 for now. So President Trump and the Secretary are not the first to take a personal interest in the FAA and the ATC system. President Clinton, Vice President Gore, and Secretary Mineta also tried to wrestle with this important function of our society. Also coming off the tragedy of TW800, they sponsored a privatization bill for the FAA called the United States Air Traffic Service. President Bush also took a huge interest in the air traffic system and created the Air Traffic Organization so ATC would run more like a business. And that's the structure that we operate in today, although that's unraveling quite quickly. So now we have the kickoff of a new world-class ATC system with the award of NOTAMS. Recall that NOTAMS failed in January of 2023, caused a big stir, and we're finally fixing it. The award was made to a somewhat unfamiliar player at the FAA in CGI Federal. But CGI is a huge company, world-class, and it is the largest managed services contractor in the world. CGI got here with the FAA using a challenge acquisition, which is a runoff of competing contractors bringing their best, and they have to have skin in the game as well. So the tides are changing, and all in a good way. Top support, advanced acquisition methods, and the selection of a world-class player who has already invested their own money to deliver. Of course, time will tell. So look for a delivery of a new NOTAM system in July and operational in September. Those are the dates. So we'll watch with great anticipation. And while this is all going on, the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee is marking up the FAA funding bill, which included an additional $15 billion for more ATC upgrades. That is a lot of money for something that doesn't really have a plan. I haven't seen a plan. Anybody seen a plan? I think we should have a plan before you give the FAA $15 billion. Just saying. And this is kind of my yeah but segment. The FAA is urging air carriers and pilots to understand the risks of visual approaches after several what they consider to be notable events. The FAA is concerned about the severity of these events and wants all operators to understand and evaluate the risks associated when they accept and execute a visual approach. Okay, that's a fine idea. That's great, but it creates conflict when ATC isn't on board and maybe doesn't want to be on board. About a year ago, Lufthansa 458 trying to get into San Francisco and refused a visual approach at night. It is their standard company policy, and they requested an ILS approach. The pilot was denied, and his delays were so extensive to the point where they had to divert to Oakland. Air traffic refused to build a gap like would have been done for a go-around or any other issue if air traffic had messed something up. It just didn't happen. And where was first come, first serve? Where is safety first? It all got messed up, turning into what was probably a less safe situation overall with the diversion. All for the efficiency of air traffic control. The safety alert is great, but the culture of day-to-day operations is all about efficiency. And safety, it may get pushed to the side some. It isn't an easy call, but if the FAA is all about safety first, a safety call shouldn't turn into a penalty. It's just the right thing to do. The iconic Goodyear Blimp is turning 100 this year. The original branded blimp was named the Pilgrim, and it flew an inaugural flight on June 3rd, 1925. What a concept! Blimps are cool, so let's buy some tires. I never made that connection like that, but I do think blimps are cool, and I have bought Goodyear tires, so maybe it works. I do have to admit, though, that I am currently on a Pirelli kick, so this is not a product placement ad. Goodyear is planning over 100 events to celebrate this year, and some of those events will include rides and maybe even a turn at the controls. Now that would be awesome. You can find the blimp's next appearance and keep up with blimp news if you're into that kind of thing, and even get some cool blimp t-shirts at GoodyearBlimp.com. So, when is a boat a plane? Well, how about if that boat flies? The U.S. Coast Guard is working with Regent Craft on the certification process for a new and really cool vessel. Talk about a new way to travel. It is called the Viceroy. The vessel, as they call it, is more like an airplane, and it's electric, and it's a wing and ground effect craft. It is designed to carry a dozen passengers along coastlines for 180 miles, cruises just above the water's surface at 160 knots, and this thing is big. 55 feet long and a 65-foot wingspan, and will operate from docks at already existing ports. So, do you need a pilot's license? Well, no, you don't. You need to be a maritime captain with a U.S. Coast Guard Near Coastal 25-ton master license and a Viceroy type rating. And this is the same process that they use for other high-speed maritime craft. It's just weird to me that there is now another regulator with the president company of the FAA and DOT certifying airplanes, infringing on the airspace, and you don't have to be an aviation pilot. So what could go wrong? Well, I think a lot could go wrong. If you leave the road and get into the air, you're a plane. I think the same holds true if you leave the water and get into the air, you're a plane. So what do you think? This is a cool method of transport. I just think there ought to be a single regulator. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to smash that like button, hit the subscribe and notification bell, and please let me know in the comments what you want to hear about, what you want me to dig into, and we will see you next time. CGI got here. CGI got here with the FAA using a challenge acquisition and a runoff competing